And so moving right along, we do have public comment, which is the period which every meeting, and at least in my tenure, our regular meetings, and also our special call meetings, we have always invite the public to speak. We're interested in what you have to say. So we have 3 folks that have signed up tonight. We have Doug Woodward, Charlie Cowie, and Bobby Bishop. Anybody else that's here that wants to speak, please let us know. We'll recognize you. So Doug, you're the first one to sign up. We recognize you. Doug Woodward, and he wants to speak concerning Macon County Bill of Rights. Doug,
it's me again. And I think most of you were at Jim Davis's presentation Tuesday night. I saw the faces there. And again, I would emphasize that the issue of fracking in Macon County is not a political, partisan issue, but it's one that pits our quality of life on one side versus the money interest on the other. And I'll say no more of that. I presented well, I didn't present it because I was on the West Coast when you had the last meeting, but I did leave a letter to each of you then about the Bill of Rights, and you should have 120 petition signatures then. I have 126 more tonight to add to that. And I think everything I've put in writing speaks for itself, so I'll leave those with you. And
okay.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and hope you will consider the Macon County Bill of Rights.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Okay. Appreciate that. We have Charlie Cowie, and Charlie is here to speak to us concerning the economy. Welcome, Charlie.
Good evening.
Glad you're here.
Commission Chairman, Commissioners, County Manager, Mike, and employees. I appreciate the opportunity to come here. I have a copy of what I'm going to say, so you can don't follow along because you won't hear me, but you will have a copy of it.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yes, sir. When I'm here, I've been here before about this, and I'm very concerned about it. Here I am again. Why am I here again? Because here we go again. This time it's fracking. In Missouri, it was racial unrest. The whole problem is the wheel that squeaks gets the grease. We're talking about issues. Of all these issues previously, it was school shootings. The issue that has the most seniority and the most negative effect on our population locally, nationally, is the unemployed people because of our overseas manufacturing. Locally, as an example, it takes a grassroots movement of proclamation to get it started. Locally, as an example, we would employ the most at Bluebell Wrangler or the factory. Which of the two entities of that same structure would employ the most people? Bluebell or the factory? Does the name Warren Buffett mean anything? He bought out Fruit of the Loom in Rayburn. Away it went. There has been an old oil pipeline proposed to be built from Canada to the USA. The stagnation of it has been blamed on environmental issues. Or is it really because Warren Buffett's oil trains are making $30 a barrel to haul that oil to America instead of going through that economic pipeline? Well, first off, employed people are productive people. They contribute taxes. They don't suck taxes. They contribute Social Security. There is obviously less need for costly social needs. when people are working. By the way, let's cut back on freebie giveaways. What is needed is a national research committee to interview the people who make up the responsible people who have been the producers and have since left our shores. I am asking you to be the kickoff group to get a loud movement started and rolling nationwide. Ronnie, you did something on this before and I appreciate it, but we need to really get cracking on this thing. And I have a strange little thing happen to me. A couple of weeks ago, we was over in Pigeon Forge, and I met my brother over there, and just as a point of information, as we talked, guess what he just happened to do? He wrote a letter to a congressman. Since our firm, the once famous Austin Company headquarters in Cleveland, and a full design built operating units for 40 cities around the world, was then intimately involved in the actual planning of new manufacturing plants, we saw the creativity of our U.S. manufacturing base in its prime. I now cringe as I walk through Sears and Home Depot and look at products conceived there, but now produced in China. Therein lies root cause of our major economic problem, and no one is really addressing it. I won't go into it completely, but one very real solution could be the need to address corporate tax structuring. Since the Chinese corporate tax rates run at about 20%, and we can have domestic rates upwards of 40%, why can't we set upon programs where rates vary based on the profit? And it goes on. But it was strange that my own brother picked up on the very same issue that I had picked up on. We hadn't even talked about it. He's an Assembly of God minister. He preaches in the church. Gentlemen, I really invite you to dig your feet into this issue. And he took questions, and he talked, and he comments. Is this important to you? I mean, Macon County, my friends, listen to me. In another generation or two, people are not going to be benefiting from Social Security benefits, retirement pensions. That means cash flow. That's running this county now. And if that dries up and there's nobody's working, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Charlie.
Charlie, thank you for coming in.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate
Yes,
it
sir.
very much. Next, we have Mr. Bishop is here, and he is talking about the, trying to read this, about batting cage for girls. Right, okay.
This is a need to come up here recently because you've probably seen the paper, but the only indoor cage that we had closed in school was just been revamped for a new weight room of money for that. So it kind of left out in the cold right now. Boys are enclosed in theirs right now, which month of November we can't have workouts, but in the month of November have workouts in December, January, and February, and I'm looking to have workouts middle school during those months, but there's not many days we're going to be outside before the season starts. We really need somewhere that we can enclose ourselves to have, somewhere that we can benefit not only high school girls, but middle school girls, and even our smaller girls from middle school girls. I went out and got with Tom Ritter. He went out with me and we drawed up a plan for this. I got some contractors to go up with me and we figured out some costs for material. Come up to about $12,800 for the cost of totally enclosing this batting cage, the lights in it and everything, doors, roll-up doors. So we got some open pitching mounds in there that the girls have to pitch off of so we can carry dirt and stuff back and forth. And come up with about $11,000 in free labor that I've got right now at this time. Electrician that's going to donate their time and stuff to help me with this. And I'll oversee this whole program. And it's just something that, like I said, he didn't come up until here recently, and that's the reason why I'm only coming now.
Mr. Chairman, as you know, liaisons to the school, liaisons to school, and he is one of those ladies. thing, nobody anticipated that thing.
Nobody anticipated coming up.
It's my understanding also, Bobby, that something I didn't also, you want to speak to it about 980 office.
Yes. Y'all know the school system now has to have a full-time trainer at all the facilities in the, of course, in the winter time during these sports right now. She's got an office at the gym that she can use for the volleyball and the wrestling and, of course, down to football field and stuff and the track and all that stuff. But in the spring, when we have the sports up there, which is also baseball and also the soccer teams, a lot of times you go up there and all three teams are playing at the same time. Last year, she had to set her little table up on the track. And like I said, it's very cold up there sometimes. Sometimes it's hard to get the tape to stick when she's trying to wrap people's ankles and stuff. So not only are we enclosing the cage, but we're also building her an office up there somewhere where she can put her table and keep some supplies and stuff in there so when one of the kids gets injured. And that's kind of centrally located there where she can, 10 steps she can be on the baseball field and 15 steps she can be on the soccer field.
And this is about, it's a little over 2,800 square feet.
Right.
And part of it is I've got the plans for the only thing I want to see, and Bobby brought me a copy that Mr. Bitter had done. Showing the doors and the roll-up doors. This is the little very top. I know all the things you've seen, this, we just now got this, so.
Bobby, who much you asking us other numbers?
It'd be about 12.8.
Well, as ways on the school system, had a couple of questions, Mr. Baldwin, I can recognize you on the spot, but we allocate capital outlay money during our budget process. We do that for capital projects, which is the big one. So I guess, in fairness, I've got to ask you, would this be a priority of the school board? And if so, why would you consider this important to come to us now, mid-year, instead of during the budget process? I guess we talked about that.
To answer your question, I do believe it would be a priority with the board. This is not something that the softball batting cage was not discussed during our capital meetings back in the spring. It is something that we would discuss in the coming spring. Part of the reason that we're here tonight is because the school system in this community is blessed by a lot of volunteerism. Mr. Bishop spoke about the baseball batting cages, and those have gone far beyond what we planned on because of the volunteer work that we've had. And he also spoke about the weight room renovations at the high school, and again, that was through a donation and a lot of volunteers' work. So, the combination of volunteerism and the fact that winter's coming on now has put us in a situation where this is a priority. And it's a safety priority, as you mentioned, with the athletic training facility on campus at Macon County as well.
Anything you need to add to that, Bobby?
Unless y'all got any questions for me, that's about all I have.
But the only thing we talked about, Chairman and myself, is how, not only girls softball, but all the high school teams and the middle grade teams, especially girls softball, how well they represent our campus. And that's because people give the time, not only the coaching, but a lot of volunteers. So, I think it's a worthy project. Keeps these kids where they can continue to excel in sports. We've invested a lot, continue to invest a lot in recreation. So, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the request from the Macon County Girls Softball, high school, middle grade, to give these students a place to practice. For that amount of money, we donated it. I think it's a pretty good deal for us all. So I'll make the motion, we take the money out of contingency and then $12,300.
Not saying days they come out of contingency.
I don't mind the safety stuff. I don't want it to come out of the time we have to do it.
No, I think the motion is second in order.
I think you can entertain that motion at this
He's the last one. So you second that? So, okay, so now, discussion. I would reason ask Commissioner Beal, I don't think this would be appropriate to come out of undesignated fund balance. I don't think that's the appropriate place to get it. To me, contingency, however, is for unexpected emergencies, things you have to pay for, or unexpected opportunities. And I guess, in my mind, if this, that's why I had to ask you, put you on the spot, Chris, but if this is a priority, something you would like to see funded, if we get it done for half the cost, then to me, that's an unexpected opportunity, so I would support the motion for that reason.
Can I just, and I think Lori knows about this, I talked to Angie a little bit about it. I think we did it like we did this when we built the new backstop up our work. When I get the bills for the stuff, I take it to her and she pays it and gets you the bill back.
But I think this needs to be done with the supervision of the school system. You know, I think I'm against that.
Right. Oh, man, Mr. Bell.
And the school board, the superintendent, they
School
all
board
get
is aware.
notified and everybody's good.
And that was a concern I had too, and certainly not to question the project, but, you know, the school board, to me, is the ultimate authority when it comes to capital expenditures. We fund that at a certain amount, which is certainly, you know, been lower over the past few years because of new roads and all that, and I get that, but it's still their call, not ours, to make these decisions. They're letting them do those things, so that was my concern. One, is that a priority, and two, is it something they would
They are aware of this and they will get it done.
Yeah, I was just gonna simply say that, I would recommend the money go through the school board and indeed, that we, if they haven't actually taken action in connection with it, that they probably should.
That's their place to do that.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm saying is, this board ought to make its appropriation subject to them approving. We don't have any authority to be funding projects on school board property. They have to come to us. I did include that in my motion.
You said that.
Including my motion.
And the Commissioner.
When's your next meeting? September, so we'll be on that agenda.
And the only reason I didn't wait till then was because we're getting pushed for time, and I figured if we got y'all's okay first, then got their okay, then we could hopefully start after they gave us the okay or whatever. I know it kind of went backwards, I guess, but that was the only scenario I had at the time to go.
You got a free labor, you got to take advantage of it.
Any other discussion on the motion?
Or can you give us a balance on fund balance if this thing that average up was 100,000?
We prefer to rent a small amount, like it, all
One
around.
ten is 110,000 total. We have to take.
More tonight for the sheriff's department, so.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. And, Chris, if you get that on your agenda, at our request,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck with your project, Bob.
Appreciate all the time you put in kids too.
Okay, I believe that was all we had for public comment. Anybody else want to comment on anything before we move on? Hearing none, adjustments and approval to